Now we want to talk about outbound lead generation. I have to say that B2B marketing to date has been very traditional. It's involved going to conferences, it's golf, it's beer, it's booths at sporting events. Those old school methods take a lot of money and a lot of time. So I want to show you what it looks like to do an outbound campaign at scale to support your efforts, including going to conferences. Does anyone here do conferences for lead generation? Okay, great. All right, I'm going to take you through this. So we call this the 8-step customer value journey, and there's 8 steps to take them from down the bottom here, unaware of who we are, all the way through to a raving fan who's referring you. Most B2B businesses only rely on repeat business and referrals. That's not a predictable revenue model. We need a method for going out and warming and those prospects, bringing them in, getting them to book an appointment and become clients. So this first 3 boxes down the bottom, taking them from unaware to aware of who we are, to engaging them in value-based content, which we just saw how to do that, to then opting in for a meeting, those 3 boxes and the KPIs that go with them is the job of your in-house marketing and lead generation team, not the salesperson. The salesperson's job is to show up here to a conference or to a pre-booked appointment and to close the first sale, to qualify them and close them. So you can imagine if they're just focusing on that and we're delegating all of this to their pod, the amount of activity we're able to produce there. Then from there, there's a handover between the salesperson in Convert and what we call the extend model over here on the left-hand side. This bit here is after you've converted the client on the first job, we want to get them excited about working with their account manager, their expert. So this is where we do the handover here. Seller doers is not a great business model. Having people go out and sell and then have to deliver on the work means you have a business that looks like a roller coaster. It's up and it's down. And I have to say, at 50, I am not a roller coaster fan. I like consistent, steady growth. So what we want to do here is hand over from the salesperson to the account manager, and this is the second funnel. So if we're talking about the 2 funnels that we just spoke about before, this one here is the top funnel, new client acquisitions, new logos. Then we get stuck into the second funnel. The second funnel needs its own KPIs as well. In fact, it is really important. This is where the profit is. This is where the value of your business is. It's a repeat business. So inside here, this is your second funnel where we're going to not only deliver on the first, but we're going to upsell them and continue to expand that account and maximize the full account. Then from there, we obviously want to get a case study from that client after we've completed maybe 6 or 12 months with the client. And of course, it's not going to be a quote that we put on our website that everybody thinks that we made up ourselves. It's going to be a video. We can interview them with your new marketing team inside Riverside and capture a video. They work the best. And then, of course, promoting them, referring you. Every single one of these, if you look down the side here, we have run sheets for how we do this. Every single step from aware, engage, subscribe, every one of them has KPIs and everyone is responsible. So there's no more sales blaming marketing and vice versa. Even the account managers need to have KPIs around how they're maximizing our existing accounts. So then what's great is we end up with a predictable revenue model. So every week we have a LinkedIn, for example, LinkedIn specialist on my account going out, nurturing 200 people a week. And then you can see there in Aware every week, say, look at week 3, or week 2, 200 people that we nurtured that week on LinkedIn, which isn't me. It's a full-timer on my profile, which, by the way, you can't use a bot. You'll get your LinkedIn shut down if you do that. From 200 prospects, 114 now know who I am and know who EGS is. And now my content, because it's video, is starting to show up in their feed. And you can see that building to 4,000 impressions by the end of the month. Now, the important thing here is how many of those go on to accept my connection request. So in week 3, you can see that almost half of them accept my connection request. Why this is important is now my content is showing up in their feed. So if their timing isn't now and they're not interested in growing their business now, I don't know why, but if they don't have enough big enough pain point, then in the future, they'll come back. In fact, we just had somebody reach out. They've been watching my content for 3 years and said, hey, I'm ready to go ahead and start with EGS and build EGS inside my business. I don't know who that person is. That person has been nurtured for 3 years. So we want to create this great flywheel. And then from there, we obviously want to get to a meeting. And then, of course, how many people go on to purchase, and then how many of those go on to be a repeat business that's your ideal client. So for every one of your customer avatars who you're targeting, you would know who they are. Please write them down. 80% of your revenue comes from 20%. So write down who those top avatars are. And then we want to know what are our magic numbers here for how many people do we nurture each of these 8 steps. Once we have that maximized, then it becomes a beautiful dial that we can turn up. And I've rarely seen a small business that said to me, oh, I've maxed out my customer avatar. In fact, most small businesses don't own market share at all. In fact, how they're creating revenue is they're going broad, they're not going deep. I need you all to go very deep on your verticals and make sure you know your predictable revenue numbers. So how does this work for a conference? For B2B, there's no more going to a conference and drinking beer and collecting business cards. This is going to be the hardest your salespeople ever work. You can see here's 3 real estate conferences. We start 12 weeks beforehand, nurturing them on LinkedIn, getting a connection request, and then asking them, are they going to NAIOP 5 or 6 weeks out? And then saying, great, well, there's 3,000 people coming. Why don't we make a time to meet up while we're there? This is all about pre-booking appointments at conferences as well. So we do a mix of nurturing people from, say, Zoom info lists and Sales Navigator to booking appointments for when we go to conferences. Now, what most salespeople are doing is they all get the attendees list the week before and they all spam the hell out of each other. That's not a strategy. What we want to do is pre-book appointments for when you go to a conference. So in this case, these 3 conferences, they had 53 meetings booked at the conferences and then 89 after the conferences. This is how we maximize and get to predictable revenue models with all activity. Whether you're B2B or D2C, predictable revenue models need to be tracked in every single part of the business.